her friends definitely remembered her saying that she was worried that somebody was coming after her, and I said, coming after her, like what? And she said, well, I could just send you an inbox of a message that was sent to me, and she did, and it was from a young man who stated my daughter had told her around the 18th or 19th of September that somebody had been calling her, and she knew the person, and told her that they would be looking for her, and she was scared and she didn't know what to do. And I asked, well, how come nobody told me so that I could prevent this from happening? And at least question her more and find out, who did she think was looking for her and why? I was told they just didn't know. They didn't think anything of it. I said, well, considering that you knew what happened on her trip to Las Vegas/California, why would you think this is important? And I just got a basic shrug and no comment.
If you guys haven't heard the case of Jessica Chambers, you're not going to want to miss the new docuseries on Oxygen. This is the story of a white teenage cheerleader burned alive in rural Mississippi, and the black man accused of the crime. Is the right man on trial, or is the color of his skin the only thing that he's guilty of? Who is Jessica Chambers, and why would anyone want her dead? And is Jessica really who she seemed? With more questions than answers, this is the case that captured national headlines, took over social media, and left this small town racially divided. This is a must-see TV event. Unspeakable Crime, The Killing of Jessica Chambers. Saturday, September 15th at 7/6 Central on Oxygen, the new network for crime. The Van is just brought to you by the upcoming film, A Simple Favor, coming to theaters everywhere September 14th. Starring Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively, and from the darker side of director Paul Feig. This stylish modern thriller centers around Stephanie, a mommy vlogger who seeks to uncover the truth behind her best friend Emily's sudden disappearance from their small town. After Emily asks Stephanie for a simple favor and then disappears without a trace, their lives and loved ones quickly become entangled in deceit and long-forgotten transgressions, leaving Stephanie to piece it all together. Taking it upon herself to find her missing friend, Stephanie discovers an ever-deepening mystery as boundaries of friendship and loyalty are tested. Truths are unburied, and appearances are not what they seem. For all of us mystery lovers, expect a story filled with twists and betrayals, secrets and revelations, love and loyalty, murder and revenge. Watch the trailer now and be sure to see A Simple Favor when it hits theaters September 14th to discover for yourself what happened to Emily. As the days passed, concern for Alexis continued to grow. April and some friends gathered to conduct a search on their own.
So I kept doing the same things I was doing, waiting to hear back from detectives at the Peoria Police Department. I didn't hear anything, so I moved ahead, and her friends and I formed a search party to begin looking for her. I believe that was October 1st, 2017, which was on a Sunday, and we started it near the house where she was last known to have been at. And during that time, we noticed that the residents of that house were power washing their house. We thought that to be odd. I stayed at the location of the search site, and the party went out to search the area, basically looking for any clues, clothes, phone, anything that connected her disappearance to her. And they found nothing, but found it strange that there was power washing going on at this house. Mind you, it's almost a week later. Well, it is a week later because she disappeared on a Saturday, so the October 1st would have made it a total of 7 days she would have been missing. I had not heard back from the Peoria Police Department other than my initial contact. Around about 3 hours into our search, we got a call from a local resident on the south end of Peoria who thought they had seen her on Readingham Street, which is a known drug area So we moved our search to the south end of Peoria. In the process, I received a phone call from the lead detective on the case apologizing for not having gotten contact with me and told me that he had been off for a few days, and Sunday was the first day he was given or knew that he had a missing persons report. And I asked him if he would like to meet us at that location that we were moving to, which was near Roosevelt Middle School in Peoria, and he said no, he needed time to look over the case. So I never actually met him until maybe 2 or 3 days later, where he wanted to meet up, and I told him what I knew, which was the residents of one of the houses that she supposedly was at had been less than 3 hours of the party dissipating, had requested that a washer and dryer be moved quickly from the residence. And we all, in our search party at the time, and the team that I had, thought it rather odd that a party that went on basically 12, 13, 14 hours, they were still up and requested a washer and dryer be moved. Someone did respond to the request for a washer and dryer removal. The person who put the request out wanted it moved quickly and was willing to pay cash. Well, in my mind's eye, I thought, well, wow, this is all suspicious activity to me. But when I presented it to the detective at the time, he told me it's nothing, don't worry about it. These guys are supposedly people who work on washer and dryers, fix them all the time. It's no big deal. So he kind of blew that idea that I had out the window and shrugged it off like, nothing, no big deal. Why are you worried about that? When I asked him about my concern about power washing within a week's time of her disappearing, he said, oh, that's nothing. The city basically told them that they had to clean their premises or they would be fined. I said, but a power washing? I said, I've lived in the area for over 20 years, and I've never been told by the city that I needed to power wash my house. I said, don't you think that's strange? And he said, no, not at all. I said, well, can you check to see if that was what was requested by the city, that a power washing be done? He said he did already, and that the city did tell him that. Come to find out later on down the road, the city never actually said, per se, cleaning the house by power washing. It said cleaning the premises. So even with that being known, my suspicions still continue to grow with that location and those people that were involved.
One frightening piece of information that's come to light is that April learned that there may be connections between the people at the party and the man who had sent Alexis to Las Vegas.
I know from those who have spoken that there were at least 12 people at this location. They're denying that it was a party. The mother of the home was home at the time, and the men involved are 21 plus years old. There was supposedly same gentleman that was involved in her trip to Las Vegas tied to these people at this residence, which also heightened my concern for her being missing. And that, with the information that I received, that she was afraid for her life and not knowing what to do, and being told that somebody was looking for her, was easy for me to figure out what may have transpired, but not so much for the detectives involved. They don't seem to see a connection, and I'm having a problem with that.
Earlier, April had mentioned that a man claimed to have dropped Alexis off at a party on Richmond Avenue, but someone else came forward claiming to be the one who dropped Alexis off at the party.
There was a taxi cab driver / Lyft person who says she dropped her off at that location between 4 and 4:30. So we have two different people saying they dropped her off at this location, and no one at the house has confirmed how she got there. Was it by a taxi driver or was it by the friend? So that part has never been confirmed one way or the other by anybody there.
The cab driver who came forward said that she knew Alexis and that she would always call her if she needed a ride because Alexis felt like she could trust her. When Alexis was dropped off, she told the cab driver that she didn't plan on staying long, probably only about an hour because she had to get back to her son. On top of the mystery of who dropped Alexis off that night, the people at the party have made conflicting statements about when she left.
When I asked the young man, I actually inboxed him. I didn't want to go to the house because of the way the police officer was acting when he came back from talking to the original person. I asked him when was the last time you seen my daughter. His original statement was she left walking. She had crossed the highway, basically, and headed towards the house, which we live about maybe 4 or 5 blocks from where she was at. And had she cut across like they said she did, she would have been home staying maybe 10 minutes if she walked that way. And then another time I asked him, was he sure how she left? He stated that she walked towards Lynn and Richmond, which is the opposite way of going home. He also stated that he was in the backyard and wasn't sure which way she left, which I had problems with that because how do you know she walked towards Richmond and Lynn if you were in the backyard and couldn't see anything? At that time, there was still foliage, grass, bushes, trees, and that in the area. Fall hadn't quite set in. It was still warm here. Chilly, but warm, and everything was still green and alive. And then when he was questioned again, and so were a few other ladies who were there, all of a sudden she left in a blue Impala. So he debunked his whole statement, but apparently he was in the backyard the whole time. The blue Impala supposedly pulled up to the front of the house. If it pulled up to the front of the house and he was in the backyard, he couldn't have seen it.
Not only do they have conflicting stories about how she left, but also exactly when she left.
Yeah, in the wee hours of Saturday morning between 5 and 5:30, supposedly she left, according to the gentleman. According to the ladies at the party, they had went on a liquor run, and between 6 and 7 o'clock, she was no longer sitting on the porch of the house waiting for a ride. Another young lady says that she went to a car that had pulled up that was dark and thought it was her car. She had prior DUI and was unable to drive, so she was waiting for a ride. She says that when she walked up to the car, she realized it wasn't her ride and walked back to the house where they were all gathered. And then my daughter walked in the direction of the car and supposedly got in the car. But she never saw the driver. The windows were dark tinted. And Impala was the word they used, but since then they have changed it to maybe they weren't sure what kind of car it was, except for that it was dark, a dark color, black or blue, with dark tinted windows.
I asked April if she knew anyone who had a car like the one that's been described.
Well, she had a former boyfriend that she had been dating up until August, until she had left. They had fallen out, and she had not been living at home. She probably moved home probably the end of July, early August. And he had had a car wreck over the summer in which they both were in and almost got killed. Before she went out of town, he had gotten a new car. I remember him coming over saying, "Hey, I told you I would come up. I got my new car." And he was showing me the car. I didn't think at the time really to pay any attention. I was just basically saying, "Yeah, you did. Good luck. You know, let's keep this one, keep insurance on it, da-da-da." And this car was dark in color, and it also had dark windows. The kind of car it was, and brand and all that, I don't have any clue. I didn't really pay that much attention to it. And they ended up driving off, and that was that for that day, and I never saw the car again. So, yeah, there is somebody with a dark-colored car, but whether that is the same person or not, I don't know, because he had moved from Peoria to Joliet. The young men who were at the party also have relatives who also have dark car with dark tinted windows, so can I say for sure? No, I really couldn't. The detectives in Peoria also drive Impalas with dark tinted windows, so it could have been anybody.
With all of the conflicting statements about what happened that night, April doesn't know who or what to believe. As I'm sure you can understand, she began making connections between her disappearance and that fateful trip to Las Vegas. Once Alexis went missing the second time, some friends that she had confided in began coming forward with bits of information that Alexis had told them. This led April to believe that there's a strong chance that her daughter was trafficked not just once, but possibly twice.
In one of her Facebook posts, she said that she had been kidnapped. She didn't really go into detail on Facebook about the kidnapping. When she got back to town, she also talked to her friends about the same thing on Facebook. She wanted to get together with some people that she had been, running with prior, and had stated that she had basically been kidnapped. She was concern. According to the friend who inboxed another friend, again, she stated that they were calling her, trying to get her back, and she was told that they would find her. Here recently, some information came up where a young lady rode the bus with her from Reno, Nevada, is where she boarded, to Utah, and the young lady, her and my daughter, just happened chance met on the bus, and she stated that Alexis and her got to be real good friends on a few hours of a bus ride that they took together on the Greyhound. And a complete stranger basically told me that Alexis had told her that she had been taken, and her and the friend that she went out to Las Vegas with were in a car together getting high and drinking. And when she woke up, I guess they were headed to California knowingly. They were going to California. But when she woke up from what seemed like she had been drugged, according to the friend on the bus, she did not see the friend that she had been riding with. She had disappeared. And when she woke up, she was in the car with a guy. And the guy basically would not let her get out of the car. She told the guy she had to go to the bathroom. He refused to let her go to the bathroom. She basically said she would defecate in his car if he didn't. And they pulled over for her to go to the bathroom. And I guess there was another guy outside walking around, looked like he was searching. She didn't tell her if the guy was black, white, whatever. She never mentioned that part. And the guy in the car told her basically, when you get out of this car, don't go that way. Don't signal to the guy across the street. Do your business and get back in this car. And he had hit her a couple times prior to her getting out of the car. He used the bathroom to make sure she got back in the car. Alexis told her that she was afraid of the man, and the man told her if she got away, he would find her. I have since put the detectives in touch with the young lady who rode the bus with her. I don't know that they have called her. According to her, no one's called her to confirm her story or to even listen to what she had to say to this day.
Another detail that could be important was a message that Alexis sent to a friend stating that she had names and phone numbers. Could Alexis have found information about those who had taken her, and could that information have put her in danger?
She said she had names and phone numbers. Apparently at some point in time, the guy who took her, they would end up in a hotel somewhere in California, and she didn't know his name. She was on his laptop and found out his name to be Chris. And in the process of her trying to find out who she was with and where she was at, she got some names and phone numbers off this laptop, and she sent this to somebody telling them, I got names and phone numbers. Now, what that meant, I don't know. I don't know if, how to connect those dots together, but the name Chris came up from the girl who rode the bus with her. That's all she could recall from their conversation, that his name was Chris. And at some point in time, she had inboxed a friend of hers here in Peoria, I believe, in which she told them she had names and phone numbers. And this was during her trip back. Exactly what that meant, I don't know. I don't know if that meant she had some good contacts or have an extravagant life, or if she had contacts relating to her situation. Not really sure if that meant she had drug contacts. I really don't know what that meant, because there was no. The sentence basically was incomplete. It could have meant anything.
After learning all of this information about what had happened to Alexis, April began doing more research about human trafficking.
Yeah, I've done so much research on trafficking. I knew very little about it, even though I work for the public school system. It's not something we talk about. We talk about everything else, but for some reason this has never come up in high school. And I've been in high school probably for about 16 years now. And I never remember in-service on it or having an assembly on it, anything to let kids know you need to be aware of your surroundings and who you associate with and how you associate. Nothing to this effect. So I basically have done my research on the situation since I've become privy to the fact that this could be a possibility, a real possibility. What I've read is they groom them over a process of a couple years, maybe a few months. Usually it's a year or so to get to know them, their habits, and to increase whatever capacity they may be at. Like if it's drug use or alcohol use, they will make sure they get it for free, make sure they get as much as they want whenever they want, kind of get them the clothes they want, the hairstyles or wigs or nails done or whatever, tattoos, whatever makes them happy to win their confidence.
While April was researching human trafficking, she started to realize that the grooming process that's so commonly used was very similar to what she had watched happen with her own daughter. After Alexis and her son's father had broken up, she was in a place that left her more vulnerable to the clever tactics that these people used to draw victims in.
When I look back, I see exactly that happening over the last year or two, because she had a baby about 2 years ago. So shortly after that, her and the father parted ways, and she, I guess, began reaching out, I guess is the way to put it, to find herself, to find a new life, to get her head out of the fact that they weren't going to be together. He was abusive to her, and she wasn't planning on going back to him, although she went several times to take him back to visit his father, who lives in Chicago. She knew, based on their interactions, that they would never be the family that she had hoped for. So I believe that kind of put her into a distraught state of mind, thinking, well, we're going to have a happy family, and we're going to have a good life together, live together, and all that, which I never condoned them living together and actually didn't support it. Anyway, I offered her the opportunity to live at home, to go back to school, to go to college, so that she would never have to live that kind of life and suffer the consequences that go with shacking up. So I was totally against that, and I'm sure that caused some heartache for her and stress in our relationship together. I didn't necessarily approve of her friends or the contacts she had. I personally wouldn't have chosen a lot of the people that she frequently visited and partied with. Just even if I was her age, I could just see that they weren't the type of people that you ought to be with on every day or once a week or once a month. So a lot of them I wouldn't have dealt with at all. But because she was my daughter and is my daughter, I kind of went along with whatever she was doing just to keep our relationship together for the sake of the child, for the sake of her sanity, because I knew she possibly could be going through some kind of depression with having a child early in her life, and I just wanted to be as supportive as I possibly could. So a lot of things I put up with that I probably shouldn't have, and had she not been my daughter, I certainly would not have, but she was and is, so.
There are job sites that send you tons of the wrong resumes to sort through. That's not smart. But you know what is smart? Going to ZipRecruiter.com/MIA to hire the right person. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology scans thousands of resumes, identifies people with the right skills, education, and experience for your job, and actively invites them to apply. So you get qualified candidates fast. That's why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. And right now, my listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/MIA. That's ZipRecruiter.com/MIA. One more time, ZipRecruiter.com/MIA. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Warning, this book causes severe sleep deprivation. Cross Her Heart, the chilling new psychological thriller by the New York Times best-selling author of Behind Her Eyes, Sarah Pinborough. Meg Gardner calls Cross Her Heart a terrific ride with plenty of I can't believe she just did that moments. And Harlan Coben advises Sarah Pinborough is about to become your new obsession. Sarah's bestseller Behind Her Eyes was called Bloody Brilliant by Stephen King. Promises aren't meant to be broken, but some promises can break you. Read Cross Her Heart by Sarah Pinborough, wherever books are sold from Morrow. Find out more at sarahpinborough.com.